Part 1. The Desperate Signal. Ethan Clark sat alone in the Deep Space Monitoring Station on the far side of the moon. The night was quiet. Most of the sensors only showed empty space. Ethan liked quiet nights. They made his work simple. He checked the readings again, bored. Nothing was moving. Nothing was calling. Then the screen blinked. A strange pattern appeared. Ethan frowned. It was unlike anything he had seen before. The signal repeated over and over. It was faint, but steady. He tapped his console and called for his supervisor. Lisa Morgan came quickly. She was calm and sharp. She looked at the readings and shook her head. "It might be interference," she said. "But it is strange interference." Ethan nodded. He could not take his eyes off the pattern. He copied the signal into the translation AI. The AI hummed quietly, running its analysis. After a few moments, it spoke in a clear voice. "This is not interference," the AI said. "This is a message. It is asking for help." Ethan and Lisa looked at each other. A message? Help? In deep space? Lisa leaned closer. "Translate it fully," she said. The AI worked for a few more minutes. Then it printed the words on the console. The message came from a civilization called the Sorolin. They were under attack. The AI explained that their enemies were known as the Velskar Dominion. The Velskar were ruthless. They destroyed worlds without mercy. The message said that the Sorolin were gentle people. They healed, they built, they created life. But now, their homes were burning. They sent the message to every known civilization in the galaxy. Most ignored it. Some did not even notice it. The AI said that the message had traveled for centuries. Some of it was old. The problem see, but the last part was very recent. Some Sorolin might still be alive. Lisa stared at the screen. "We have to tell the United Exploration Command," she said. Ethan nodded. He could not believe it. Humans were known in the galaxy as Deathworlders. People said Earth was harsh, full of storms, diseases, wild animals, and danger everywhere. Humans had survived. Yes, but most civilizations feared them. Most thought humans were dangerous. A few hours later, in orbit around Earth, a secure meeting room filled with leaders. Admiral Karen Hawthorne stood at the head of the table. Commander Jake Rivera was there. Dr. Megan Cole, the xenocultural specialist, sat quietly to one side. The AI printed the translated message in front of them. Hawthorne read it slowly. "They are pleading for help," she said. "And the galaxy is ignoring them." Jake leaned back. "Why would we get this?" he asked. "Other civilizations are closer, bigger, stronger." Dr. Megan Cole shook her head. "The message was sent blindly," she explained. "They did not know which civilization would hear it. They just sent it everywhere." Hawthorne looked at the others. Her eyes were steady. "We have the power to help," she said. "Doing nothing means letting another civilization die while the rest of the galaxy watches." The room was quiet. Jake frowned. "The galaxy thinks of us as dangerous. If we move in, some might see it as an attack." Hawthorne smiled slightly. "We do not need their approval. We only need to do what is right. Humans did not survive on a death world by hiding from danger. We survived because we faced it." They began to make plans. A task force would leave Earth to reach the Sorolin. It would carry food, medicine, repair equipment, and if necessary, soldiers. Humans would not conquer. They would rescue. They would defend. Jake was chosen to lead the flagship. He was known for difficult missions, for making the impossible work. He accepted without hesitation. Megan Cole prepared cultural and medical protocols. She wanted to make sure humans could understand Sorolin needs and help them recover. Ethan watched the messages fly across the networks. The order was final. Humans were leaving Earth to answer a call no one else heard. He felt pride, but also fear. No one knew what awaited them. On the moon base, technicians checked the ships. Engineers ran last-minute diagnostics. Supplies were loaded carefully. The humans were used to harsh conditions on Earth, but space was different. Here, one mistake could cost lives instantly. Jake walked the halls of his ship. He looked at his crew. Many were young. Many had never faced real danger. He spoke to them quietly. "We go not to fight for glory," he said. "We go to help those who cannot save themselves. That is why we are human." The crew listened, some nodding, some silent. They all understood. Humans had a reputation across the galaxy. Feared, respected, sometimes hated. But here, they had a choice. They could use their strength for good. Ethan and Lisa watched the ships prepare for departure. The engines of the flagship roared to life, sending vibrations through the base. Lights glowed on control panels, alarms chimed softly, routine checks in motion. The ships left the moon orbit one by one. Humans had long dreamed of crossing the stars. Now, they were using that ability to answer a plea for help. Not for conquest or profit. Hawthorne remained behind in orbit, watching the fleet fade into the darkness. She thought of Earth, a small blue planet in a crowded galaxy. It had survived storms, fires, diseases, and attacks from every corner of space. Now, it would reach out to a civilization it had never met. Ethan felt the hum of the base around him. The signal that had started this all was quiet now. The AI confirmed no further message had been received yet, but somewhere in the ruins of a distant system, someone was waiting. Someone needed help. Lisa placed her hand on Ethan's shoulder. "We may be feared," she said, "but we are also the only ones who will go. They will learn what humans really are." Ethan nodded. He hoped she was right. He had heard stories of other civilizations ignoring calls for help. Humans were not like that. Humans did not look away. In the last moments before departure, the AI sent one more translation. It was simple, direct, and filled with desperation. "Please," it said. The words hung in the station like a ghost. Ethan thought of storms on Earth, of deserts, of the frozen north. Humans had survived all of that. They had learned to endure. Perhaps they could survive here too. Perhaps they could make a difference. The fleet lit its drives and vanished into the black. The stars streaked past like long ribbons of light. The moon became a small circle behind them. The call for help grew fainter. But humans had heard it. They would go, no matter what waited. On the flagship, Jake looked at the control panel. The route to the Sorolin system was plotted. Olivia Hart, the sensor officer, smiled faintly. "We will find them," she said. "We will save them," Jake nodded. "And if the Velskar Dominion tries to stop us," he said, "they will see what Deathworlders can do." The crew of the flagship felt the tension lift slightly. The unknown stretched ahead, vast and dangerous. But they were humans. They had survived storms that would have killed others. They would face this darkness as they had always faced life. Together, stubborn, and unafraid. The part ends with the fleet moving into deep space, carrying hope, medicine, and the strange promise of Earth's resilience. Somewhere, in the shadow of distant suns, the Sorolin waited, unaware that help was coming from a death world that no one else dared to trust. The galaxy might have looked away for centuries. Humans would not. They had heard the desperate call, and they were coming. Part 2. First contact with the broken. The human fleet exited faster than light, near the coordinates provided by the Sorolin message. The system was quiet, almost empty. Stars glimmered in the distance. But the planets were dark, burned, and broken. Sensor Officer Olivia Hart scanned the area. Debris stretched across millions of kilometers. She shook her head. Most of these planets are ruined, she said. Stations destroyed. Everything shattered. Jake Rivera, commanding the flagship, studied the readings. We may still find survivors, he said. We need to search carefully. Ethan Clark, on communications, noticed a faint signal. It was weak, almost drowned by the debris. Sir, I think I found something, he said. There's a small station, barely powered. Someone is alive. Jake ordered the fleet to approach slowly. Shields went up, sensors scanned for traps, and medical teams readied their packs. The humans wore protective suits when they docked. They carried tools, food, and translation units, not weapons in hand. This was not a battle yet. It was rescue. Inside the station, the humans saw the Sorolin for the first time. They were thin, with delicate limbs and bioluminescent markings on their skin. The patterns flickered weakly with emotion. Some were injured, some were frightened, hiding in shadows. The Sorolin leader introduced himself as Tyrell of the Third Chorus. He let the humans call him Tyrell. He looked small and fragile, but his eyes were sharp and aware. He spoke carefully. His voice was soft, almost musical. The Sorolin were terrified when they learned humans had come from Earth. Stories traveled across the galaxy about Deathworlders, about humans who survived radiation, deadly storms, heat, cold, and starvation. They whispered that humans were dangerous. Some cried quietly. Others watched from corners, unsure if humans were predators or saviors. Dr. Megan Cole knelt beside an injured Sorolin child. The girl, Lyra, trembled as her bioluminescent patterns flickered weakly. Megan gently applied medicine and stabilized her. The child's glow brightened slightly in surprise and relief. We came to help, Megan said softly. We are not here to hurt anyone. Tyrell looked uncertain. He explained that the Velskar Dominion had attacked without warning. They had burned cities, destroyed stations, and left most of their civilization in ruin. The galaxy watched, he said, and no one came, no one helped. Why should you? Commander Jake spoke calmly. Humans do not turn away from a plea for help. When someone calls, we come. That is what we are. Tyrell stared at him. The Sorolin had lived for centuries in peace, avoiding war whenever possible. They had seen the galaxy's cruelty and learned to fear it. Humans were another unknown. Would they save them? Or bring more danger? Olivia Hart guided humans through the station, checking for survivors and damaged systems. She reported to Jake that several life support units were barely functional. Oxygen levels were low in some sections. If humans had arrived a day later, many might have died. Engineer Chris Dawson and his team started repairs immediately. They worked on broken power conduits, damaged hull panels, and leaking conduits. Their movements were calm and practiced. The Sorolin watched in awe as humans moved easily in vacuum suits, handling hazards that would have been deadly for them. Megan taught Sorolin medics how to use human medical kits. She explained that humans had learned to heal injuries and sickness because Earth was harsh. Humans had survived fires, floods, disease, and accidents. Every child learned to care for the wounded. Humans had survived by learning how to help each other. Tyrell observed carefully. He asked Jake, "Why would you risk yourselves for us? We are strangers." "You do not know us," Jake replied. "Because you asked. Humans do not leave a cry for help unanswered. We survive together or not at all. That is how we live." Lyra, now sitting up, asked Ethan endless questions about Earth. She wanted to know why humans could survive storms, earthquakes, and oceans. Ethan told her stories simply. He told her about the forests, the deserts, the wild animals, and how humans learned to live with danger every day. Lyra's bioluminescent patterns shifted in fascination and wonder. Tyrell noticed that humans not only worked on repairs, but also set up water filters, food printers, and temporary greenhouses for Sorlin plants. The station, once dark and cold, slowly began to feel alive again. The humans moved with efficiency, without complaint, and without fear of the dangers around them. Olivia reported that sensors had detected Velskar probes at the edge of the system. The enemy was scouting. Jake called a meeting with Hawthorne via secure transmission. She told him that this was expected. If humans turned away now, they would be no better than the rest of the galaxy. Humans had come to protect, and they would stand firm. Jake chose to fortify the station. Drones were positioned around the hull, shields strengthened, and sensor nets deployed. The humans worked while Sorlin watched. The aliens had never seen such determination. They had expected fear, not courage. At night, Megan sat beside Tyrell. He played soft songs of loss and hope on his bioluminescent patterns, and she listened. The Sorlin communicated through song, and their grief was heavy. Megan did not interrupt. She let them sing. She wanted them to understand that humans were here not to replace sorrow, but to help bear it. Tyrell began to understand humans in a new way. They were not only dangerous, they were careful, they were resilient, they were willing to face hazards that would kill others. That was their strength, and perhaps it could save his people. In the evening, Jake walked through the station corridors. He checked with medics, engineers, and Marines. The crew was tired, but focused. Every member understood that they were the first to answer a call that no one else had. They were here to be the shield for the vulnerable. Olivia looked out the observation window. The Velskar ships were still far. Scanning silently, she realized they had underestimated the humans. No other species had arrived to protect the Sorlin. The humans were a wild card. Ethan walked beside Lyra. She was smiling slightly now. "You came for us," she said simply. "Why?" Ethan smiled. "Because someone called," he said. "Humans answer when someone calls." Tyrell listened from the corner. He still feared what might come next, but he also felt a spark of hope. The humans were not just survivors of a death world. They were teachers, healers, and protectors. They had the courage to face the dangerous unknown. That night, the station felt different. Lights glowed softly. Repaired power units hummed quietly. Humans and Sorlin worked side by side. Somewhere, in the shadows of the broken system, the Velskar might have been watching, expecting fear. Instead, they would find humans who did not flinch. Megan sat with Tyrell, holding Lyra's hand as the girl fell asleep. "We are here to help," Megan said. "And we will not leave until everyone is safe." Tyrell nodded, still unsure of what to call this new feeling. Trust was hard for Sorlin, but humans had shown something remarkable. They could survive everything the galaxy threw at them, and they could choose to help instead of harm. Jake gathered his officers. He looked at Olivia, Ethan, Chris, and Megan. "We are not just here to fix the station," he said. "We are here to protect these people. If the Velskar arrive, they will learn what humans are capable of." Olivia nodded. "We are ready," she said. She studied the sensors. "They will come, but we are ready." The Sorlin began to assist. Their engineers watched human methods and copied them. Medics learned new healing techniques. Lyra, curious and energetic, ran from room to room, watching the humans with fascination. She asked questions, trying to understand the Earth people who could face so much danger without fear. Tyrell observed quietly. Humans had given them not just safety, but knowledge and courage. They had restored more than the station. They had restored hope. Outside the station, the stars twinkled. The Velskar might be waiting, ready to strike. But humans did not flinch. Their ships were ready, their drones in place, and their crew trained to survive every hazard the broken system offered. In the quiet moments, Megan looked at the Sorlin and whispered to herself, "We can do this. We will save them." Ethan watched Lyra sleep. Her bioluminescent glow dim but steady. He thought of Earth's storms, deserts, and frozen lands. Humans had survived all of that. They had learned to endure. Now, they would bring that strength to these fragile aliens. Jake walked through the corridors one last time that evening. He looked at the repaired station and the humans working alongside Sorlin. He knew the danger had not passed. The Velskar were out there, and they would strike eventually. But the humans would not run. They had come to answer a plea for help, and they would stand firm. The part ends with the station alive again. Humans and Sorlin working together, and the first real hope in centuries shining faintly in the broken system. The quiet was only temporary. The galaxy had not yet finished its reckoning. Humans had arrived. They had healed, protected, and endured. And soon, the Velskar would see what it meant when Deathworlders come to help the weak. Part 3. Deathworld Kindness. Days passed slowly in the ruined star system. Humans and Sorlin worked side by side in the fragile station. The once dark halls were now lit with soft lights from repaired panels. Water and oxygen flowed steadily. Humans had set up food printers and portable greenhouses. Life was returning. Chris Dawson led a small team of engineers to repair the damaged solar collectors outside the station. He moved easily along fractured beams, floating in the low gravity. Sorlin engineers followed behind, hesitant and careful. They whispered to each other, watching Chris and his team handle the debris like it was nothing. "On Earth, we work with danger every day," Chris said as he tightened a solar panel. "This is just another problem to fix." The Sorlin watched in awe. No one in their species had faced such risks so calmly. If a mistake had been made, a human could survive where they might not. It was strange and impressive. Inside the station, Megan Cole taught Sorlin medics to use human medical kits. She showed them how to treat burns, broken bones, and infection. The Sorlin learned quickly. But they were nervous. "Why do you do all this?" one of them asked. "Because we survive together," Megan replied. "Humans have lived on a world that can kill you in 100 ways. We learned to heal each other. We do not leave anyone behind." Lyra followed Ethan as he repaired communication equipment. She asked questions non-stop. "Why can you survive storms?" she said. "Why can you survive fire? Why are you not afraid?" Ethan smiled. "We learn to survive because Earth is hard. Storms, deserts, frozen lands. We learn to help each other. We have no choice." Tyrell watched quietly. He saw humans moving through the station, repairing systems, treating the sick, calming the frightened. There was no fear in them, only purpose. He began to understand that Deathworlders were not just dangerous. They were careful, strong, and stubbornly brave. The Sorlin began to copy the humans. They repaired minor damage on their own, moved food and medicine, and learned new ways to handle injuries. Their bioluminescent patterns flickered with emotion. Hope was returning slowly, like a small light in a dark room. One evening, Jake called a meeting with the human officers. Olivia, Chris, Megan, and Ethan gathered around a table. Outside the observation window, distant stars twinkled. Sensors showed faint movements at the edge of the system. Velskar probes were near. "They are scouting," Olivia said. "We should expect them to attack soon." Jake nodded. "We will not hide. The Sorlin are under our protection now. If the Velskar strike, they will face humans who will not give up," Megan added. "We need to continue teaching the Sorlin how to repair, heal, and defend. It is not enough to save them today. They need skills to survive tomorrow." Tyrell listened quietly. He had never expected help like this. Most of the galaxy ignored his people. Humans had risked everything for strangers. He felt fear, but also something new: trust. In the following days, humans and Sorlin worked together to strengthen the station. Engineers repaired hull breaches. Medics improved life support systems. Lyra ran from room to room, learning and asking questions, fascinated by humans' calm in dangerous situations. Jake walked through the station one evening. He checked on engineers, medics, and Marines. "Remember," he said quietly, "we are here to protect, not conquer. We fight only to keep these people safe." Olivia looked out the window. The system was quiet now, but she knew it would not stay that way. "They will come," she said. "The Velskar will not ignore this." Ethan helped Lyra study human tools. She asked about fire, water, storms, and how humans learned to survive on a harsh planet. "Humans are strange," she said. "You can survive everything, but you do not hurt others." "We survive to help each other," Ethan replied. "That is what makes us human." Tyrell watched them. Humans had shown his people that danger could be met with courage, not fear. They had restored more than the station. They had restored hope. Jake called a training session for Sorlin engineers. He showed them how to operate drones and repair external hulls. The Sorlin were hesitant, afraid of failure. But humans moved beside them, steadying them, guiding them, teaching by example. One Sorlin engineer asked, "What if we fail?" Chris smiled. "Then we try again. Humans fail all the time, and we survive. We survive by not giving up." The station began to feel alive. Greenhouses glowed with growing plants. Repaired water systems flowed steadily. Injured Sorlin recovered. Laughter, soft and musical, returned in the halls. Tyrell confided in Megan one evening. "We have been afraid for centuries. The galaxy ignores us. Your people, they risk themselves for strangers." "Why?" Megan answered softly. "Because humans hear when someone calls for help. That is what we do. We do not wait for permission. We do not wait for the galaxy. We act." Lyra, now recovering fully, approached Ethan. "You will protect us?" she asked simply. "Yes," Ethan said. "We will not leave." Outside, humans continued repairs on the station hull. Drones patrolled quietly. Shields were reinforced. Even as the system was calm, the humans prepared for the inevitable Velskar attack. They did not fear it. They were ready. Jake gathered his officers again. "The Velskar will come," he said. "But they will find humans who do not back down. We will protect these people. That is our purpose." Olivia checked sensors again. "They are near," she said. "Scanning. Looking for weakness. They do not know we are ready." Chris and his team finished repairing the solar arrays. "They may have more ships," he said. "But we have prepared. We can survive anything they throw at us." Tyrell walked among his people. They had learned to repair, to care, to move without fear. He saw something he had not felt in decades. Hope. Humans had brought more than medicine and tools. They had brought courage. That night, Megan and Tyrell listened to Lyra sing softly. Humans had taught Sorlin healing. But humans had also taught something unspoken. Endurance, the ability to face danger, to help others, and to keep going even when all seems lost. Jake walked the corridors again. He felt a quiet pride. The humans had arrived as strangers, but now they were protectors. The station was alive again, and the Sorlin were learning to survive. He looked out at the stars. Somewhere in the darkness, the Velskar were watching. They would come soon, expecting fear. Instead, they would find humans who did not flinch, who could endure, who could protect. Ethan checked the communications array. He smiled faintly at Lyra. "We are ready." he said. Whatever comes, we will not turn away. Tyrell stood beside him. He still feared the Velskar, but he felt a strength he had never known. Humans had shown him what it meant to survive, to protect, and to face danger without giving in to despair. The part ends with the station restored, humans and Sorolin working together, and hope returning for the first time in centuries. The quiet is temporary, and the galaxy is still dangerous. But humans have arrived, and the Velskar will soon see the power of Deathworld kindness. Humans have taught the Sorolin more than repairs or medicine. They have taught them courage, endurance, and the strength to survive when all seems lost. Soon, the battle to defend the helpless will begin, and humans will stand without fear.